I spent years living all the way in the box, afraid to step out, afraid to truly grab hold of my dream. And now I am breaking through, and I invite you to join me.
Your breakthrough starts now. Coming up on today's show, get ready to be inspired and transformed with our featured guests. Find out what's trending and get advice on life's daily challenges with Erica's top tips of the day. All of this and so much more coming up. So stay tuned. This is your one-stop shop for inspiration. The Erica Latrice Show. And now, here's your host, Erica.
Hello and welcome to the Erica Latrice Show. This is your one-stop shop for inspiration. Now, if you ever thought of a time to inspire someone, encourage someone, to just uplift someone, now is the time. And the way that you can do that is just by hitting that share button, commenting live, joining the discussion on today's show. So as you can see, I'm talking about the Monica and Brandy versus. Now, I usually don't even get into anything trending, but I learned so much from that because I was literally forced into checking out snippets of it. So I'm talking about that today. And I'm also talking about comparisons. And you definitely want to stick around because what I'm going to share with you can make or break the next steps in your career, in your business, quite honestly, in your life. And our special guest in the Be Inspired Cafe today is sharing how she walked away from a six-figure position to pursue, that was a tongue twister, to pursue her passion in her career in business. So if you have ever thought about stepping out, if you've ever thought about turning that idea into an action plan, now is the time for you to share, tag a friend, tell a friend. Now, my challenge question for you today, I try to make it easy for the giveaway. I just want to know who watched the Brandy versus Monica versus. And if you did, just give me your feedback in the comment section. I'm going to take a short break, so that gives you just enough time to share your input. I didn't say who won. I just said, did you watch it? And when we come back, I'm jumping straight into my top tips of today. My special guest in the Be Inspired Cafe. We're about to have a blast, so don't go anywhere.
Get ready for all new episodes of the Erica Latrice Show. You can join me weekdays at 2 o'clock Eastern across social media at Erica Empowers. That's Erica spelled like America. If you have a message that you want to share on the show, email us right now at info@ericalatrice.com or visit online at ericalatrice.com/be on the show.
Welcome back. All right, it's time for our top tips. Today, I'm talking about comparison because I know how easy it is to start seeing what other people are doing, or even when other people are putting you up against someone else's success. And so I just want to talk about that briefly today to encourage someone. If you've been feeling like maybe you haven't gone as fast as you feel like you should be going, or as far as you feel like you need to be going, or insert anything that's not enough. That's what I'm talking about today. So my first tip for you is to understand that comparisons will rob you of your focus, like completely rob you. Snatch it, steal it, and take it. And the reason why this is so important to understand is because when you're focused on what someone else is doing, when you're focused on how fast they're going, how slow they're going, how anything they're going, it literally slows you down. And if you've watched any race, I'm a big track and field fan, you will never see, especially in a race where someone is sprinting, you're not going to see them stop in the middle of the race and just sit back and start looking at their opponent's form or looking at what other people are doing. You're going to see them focus. And the reason that I want you to understand this today is because usually when you have an idea, when you have a goal, when you have something that can make an impact, distractions are going to come. And this is something that I thought about a lot because when we talk about like haters, or we talk about negative people coming into our life, or toxic relationships, a lot of times we want to think that it can only be negative if it's outright, like they punched you or they hurt you or harmed you. But the truth is, the most dangerous that I've seen, I will say one of the most dangerous ways that something can enter in as a distraction is by taking your time. Energy vampires. When I really took an inventory of the people that were most detrimental to my progress, it wasn't because they were gossiping about me. It wasn't because they had something negative to say. It wasn't because any of the things that we would think on the surface. They literally were energy and time vampires. As long as they could keep me off my focus, I couldn't do what I needed to do. And the same is true for you. As long as you allow these distractions to come in, as long as you spend time comparing your progress to someone else, as long as you spend time entertaining comparisons and any of those things, it's literally sucking your energy and draining your focus to carry out what you want to carry out and need to carry out. And number 2, no one can outrun your race. So stay in your lane. This is something that I really want to drive home because I get this so much. Like I will get so many questions, like just about everything. How did you book that speaking engagement? Or how'd you do this? Or how'd you do that? And it's amazing. Like I freely give of information. But what I do know is that there have been times where I've seen how someone did something, but it was of no help to me because I literally just did not have their vision to carry it out. So what I want you to think about is, I used to hear this quote a lot, slay in your lane. When you're in your lane, there are things that you have the perception to do. There are things that you have been equipped to carry out that nobody else could carry it out. So you might be bouncing ideas off of other people and hoping they're going to give you some input. Unfortunately, they can't because you have been given that vision. So comparisons will have you looking and seeking for advice and structure from someone that wasn't even given the vision because it's yours. And I think about that because I'm like, I laugh when I think about it. I had a coach and she and I were talking about that, like when we were in that place of like people pleasing and needing feedback. And you're looking at interns, asking the intern about the vision and how things can carry out. And so you want to think about that when it comes to comparisons. And the final thing that I would really just encourage you to think about today is having a you versus you mentality. And this is where I share my feedback about Brandy and Monica. Now, my sister called me. She was so excited about this verse. And she was like, oh my gosh, it gave me so much like energy. And I'm doing a round 2 today. And I was like, you know what? I'll watch it. And if you grew up in the 90s, it just will give you your whole nostalgic flashback. Shout out to Brandy and Monica right now. But what it made me think about as I'm watching is the energy that they had together. They were supportive of each other. They've even done multiple collaborations. So when people are pitting them against each other and getting heated, I've seen people go back and forth, getting upset in the comments and things like that about these 2 women who are actually operating in what I'm sharing with you right here, a you versus you yesterday mentality. While everyone else is putting Monica against Brandy and, you know, Sarah against Sally and Erica against Oprah or whatever, when you adopt the you versus you yesterday mentality, the only thing that you wake up every single day competing with is who you were yesterday. And that is my challenge for you today. How can you show up every single day being a better version of yourself? How can you outdo what you did yesterday? How can you be the best you? So if you can relate to this, I want you to put, you know, if you're watching live, I feel preachy. Tap your digital neighbor and tell them it is me versus me. Because if we all could adopt that mentality, no time would be wasted. You would avoid all of that energy draining and you wouldn't spend nearly as much time losing your focus. So that is my message, my top tip for you today. I'm taking a short break. I encourage you to join me on this challenge because our special guest today is sharing how she transitioned from her 6-figure full-time income into working for herself. And we are actually doing a giveaway this week, which will be announced on Friday, sponsored by the Ivory Agency, and you can find them at theivoryagency.com. It is a giveaway for 2 powerhouse entrepreneurs. So if you have an idea, if you're ready to launch your business, they are actually sponsoring your business registration. So go to ericalatrice.com/business giveaway. I'm taking a short break. When I come back, my special guest in the Be Inspired Cafe, Chanel Spencer, is coming to drop some nuggets for all of you who have a desire to step out in entrepreneurship. So don't go anywhere.
If you're watching this, so are your potential clients. I'm excited to announce an all-new season of the Erica Latrice Show. It's coming up right now, and we're looking for featured guests as well as sponsors. If you want to be a success supporter of this show, connect with our team right now by emailing info@ericalatrice.com to get more information or just support the mission of Be Inspired, to empower and inspire people all around the world with a message of hope and encouragement. Our mission is to bring you uplifting news and talk to encourage and share a platform for those who have a powerful message and looking for a place to share it. If you want to partner with the Erica Latrice Show, you can do so by emailing info@ericalatrice.com or visit ericalatrice.com/sponsor so that you can be a success supporter of this inspirational movement.
Welcome back. It is time for the Be Inspired Cafe. And my special guest today is Chanel Spencer. She is a powerhouse with a message to help you step out of that place of comfort and take that leap into your purpose, especially if you are interested in entrepreneurship. So welcome with me into the Be Inspired Cafe today, Chanel. How are you doing today, Chanel?
I'm well. I'm absolutely well. I'm super excited to be here. Can we get into first of all, your lower third, your intro? I'm just like, yes.
Yes, it's go time. That's our topic today. Let's go. So, yes. So can you tell us just a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do?
Of course. So I am the CEO of Maximum Evolution, and I help women to transform their lives by bringing their vision into fruition, because we are no longer waiting for a seat at anyone else's table. We're just going to go and build our own. I am an author, 6-time best-selling author, a speaker, and I also help to build brands, and I built a brand for my children, TJ Playworld.
Yes. So I have so many things that I want to talk about today.
Yeah.
I'm like, but my first question to you, since our theme is about the Brandy and the Monica battle, I won't call it battle. Like I said, it was just all like love, encouragement, and support. But did you watch that, or have you heard about it? And what are your thoughts on that when you're seeing people get pit against each other?
I watched it briefly because I was doing my own launch on Monday. But it was good from what I saw. All I remembered is The Boy Is Mine and how they always had the comparison for however many years. So it was a beautiful thing to see them come together for the greater good. And they had 1 million views. So it taught us that don't compare yourself to somebody else. Collaborate and get to this coin. Like, you know what I mean? That's literally what it taught me.
Yes, so good. I know I'm team. I have shirts actually at amplifyher.online. Shameless plug. I don't compete, I collaborate, like literally the motto. So I would love to know, can you tell us just a little bit about your story of how you were able to get an idea, see it, and step out of a place that you felt comfortable in your full-time into what you do now?
Absolutely. So I was working in the hospitality industry for 10 years or so. I went all the way up to being a general manager and making 6 figures. And I always felt that was my passion, that I was going to become like the VP of the company, and I was going to be the regional director of everything, was my ultimate goal, honestly. And then I had an executive coach who helped me to do personal development and kind of go through my baggage and pain and release things that I needed to. And she spoke over me that I was going to be an author, and that I was going to be a speaker, and I was just looking at her like, are you sure that you're still on the same line with Chanel Spencer? What are you talking about? And this was literally 2016. And from then I was like, you know what? I see myself being an author. And I jumped into my first collaboration project, and that released in 2018. And since then I've been in 6 different collaboration projects and have done so many other things that I'm super, super excited about and I'm proud of.
I love it. So this is something that I think is so important too when we're thinking about like collaborating, when we're thinking about partnerships. There was another, since I'm already into the trending topics in like celebrity news right now, this one's actually kind of old, but I remember there was a time when Jess Hilarious was sharing, and Derek Jackson shared as well, as an entrepreneur, where she was asking a friend how like to lay out her steps to success, and the friend was like, I can't tell you. And so this whole discussion opened up about why are entrepreneurs so secretive about their steps? I have my own opinion, so I'll get into that in a second, but why are they so secretive about how they did this, or, whatever, and how we can come together and help one another? So I'll share my thoughts in a second, but I would love to know your thoughts on that. Do you find, or are you familiar with that? And what were your thoughts when you hear those kind of things?
So there's 2 reasons I feel. One reason is because some entrepreneurs work extremely hard to get to where they are, and they don't want to necessarily give away the information for free, because they probably had so many people come to them every 5 seconds, every 5 minutes, trying to suck out information from them, and now they're drained and they didn't get anything back ultimately. But also there's also the side of the lack mindset, where you feel that helping somebody else, giving somebody else some free tips is going to allow them to be better than you. But at the end of the day, there's abundance for everybody. No matter who wins or why they're winning, when they're in their season, their win is not a loss for you. It's a win for you as well. So when you shift your mind to understand that there's success and winning for everybody, and there's room for everybody at the table, then you won't have that "it's only for me and no one else can have it" mindset. But yeah, you must pay me for. Somebody has a T-shirt that says, you can get my information after you pay this invoice," something like that. So it's two things.
Yes. And so that's one of the things, and I will share this to any entrepreneur that feels that way, because I know I put the brain picking, where you can feel like, I want to pick your brain, I want to pick your brain. But what I learned is the more organized that you are in your systems, the less you're opening yourself up for those availabilities. And the reason is because everyone that comes to you as an entrepreneur, whether you are selling cupcakes, T-shirts, or agency services, it doesn't matter. If you have your customer journey outlined, you can always freely give, but you now know your limitations. And what I found, even when I saw that, I get it, but I have mentors that I don't know how they found the time, but they have freely poured into me, but they also do it within the boundaries of only give away what you can afford to give away. And usually that comes down again to time, because when you sit down and you let people pick your brain, that's another 3 hours that you needed to be focused on your vision that, you're giving back. So
yes,
I feel like you speak a lot about this, like entrepreneurship, taking leaps. So what would you say, what was your mindset like, or what type of mindset do you think is necessary for someone that is looking to start taking those leaps into what they're most interested in doing?
First and foremost, you have to be dedicated to your dream. Please believe that it's not that I left and then the next day I was a multimillionaire. It is a journey, but it is a well worth journey, because the level of life that I have now, the freedom that I have on my time and the energy that I have to give is it's priceless to me. So that's one, dedication. Two, understanding that you need to have perseverance as well, that it's going to be a journey. You're going to have your up days, you're going to have your down days, but just always push forward and understand and feel the feelings, feel the sadness, deal with your emotions, but at the same time, always pick yourself back up and figure out, okay, well, what do I have to do next?
Yes. And this is something that I love too, that you just shared, having the ups and downs, because as we're speaking about comparisons today, it's easy to see these other people. They're like, hey, I started my idea last week, and then, I don't know, Damon John came and sponsored me, and I'm living happily ever after. And we can feel like, well, did you miss the mark? So I love that you've shared that you've had to overcome adversity. You've had to overcome wanting to give up, but not doing that. So can you tell us, has there ever been a time that you wanted to quit? And if so, how did you keep going in those times?
Girl, every other minute? No, I'm kidding. Not every other minute, but there are some times where you just get super frustrated and you feel a little overwhelmed, and you're just like, forget it, because everything just feels like it's going wrong. Like literally with the launch that I had on Monday, I had everything lined up to the T. I like everything to be perfectly aligned and organized. And then Amazon hit me with a low blow. And at that point, I could have easily been like, you know what, forget it. I'm not doing the launch. Forget it. I'm not doing this. Forget it. But I persevered and pushed through it. And I pivoted and came up with a different idea to execute what I needed to execute. And with that, it became a phenomenal launch. So shout out to all my Our Truth Is Not a Lie authors. I appreciate all of you for tuning in and being amazing on that launch. So yes.
So good, because I remember I do like a lot of live events, and I'll see certain people, I won't say anyone specifically, but I'll see certain people that I've like worked with, or just I love their audience too. And I'm like, is she in a different world? Because it seems like her launches always just go so smoothly, and I'm like, is this a sign to give up? And then I find that when digging a little deeper and having these discussions and getting connected to more people, it's like, oh no. Whenever you are on the brink of something incredible, whenever you are about to open some major doors, think it not strange when adversity and trials come your way. So what would you say? What are some of like your go-to strategies, your go-to advice when adversity comes, if you had to like break it down to 2 or 3 keys that you lean on that keeps you going?
I definitely do meditation for sure. Meditating, getting with yourself and calming yourself down so you no longer hear the white noise that's around you that's distracting you and throwing you off your game. So I definitely meditate for sure. I'll put on music to calm my nerves as well, whether it's gospel music or a little R&B, just to kind of help me refocus. And I literally just figure out, okay, what's happening and create a pivoting plan so that I can execute what I need to and overcome the challenge.
That's a whole fact. That's it right there. Like, I was sharing this with someone yesterday. She was going through a stressful moment, and I would encourage any of you that are watching, if you're in a place right now where maybe you feel like the weight of the world is on you more, challenges are coming up. One of the things that I really love to do, number one, is prayer. Like, hey, God, please show me what resources are available. Yeah. And the second thing is getting into that place on the other side of it. Because a lot of times we're coming from that energy of stress, overwhelm, I quit, this is not going to work. But when we think about how we're going to feel on the other side of that, who are you going to call when it works out? How are you going to celebrate? It shifts the energy. So you have a lot. You just share, like you have the launch going, you have products and services. Tell us a little bit about what you do and some of the things that you have taking place right now.
So right now I am currently working on 3 book projects. 2 are an anthology project, The Evolution Effect, Our Truth Is Not a Lie. And then 1 is a book project that I'm on by myself, Maximum Evolution, Transform from Victim to Warrior. I also help clients to develop their brand. So there's often times where we're like, we don't know what to do. We want to do this. We want to do this. And we don't know the necessary steps. So I help to create actionable plans to execute, to get your business and your brand to the next level. And I also do provide services to help you do the same as well.
I love it. And something that you just said there, I want to talk about this. We're going to take a short break too, and we'll get back with our final thoughts. But it's that focus, getting on that one thing. And I know when we're multifaceted, when we're visionaries, when we have 150,000 plus ideas, it's easy to let everything overtake you. And I just saw, I feel like quite a few people have shared this about Tyler Perry hitting his billionaire club. And I know that may not be everyone's focus for success, but what it shows me is that he was once at a place in his own story where he said he couldn't even raise $30,000. And so he was sharing how he was trying to do everything in the vision, and until he stopped and focused on one thing, the plays, that has opened the door to what he's doing now. So I guess it's my trending topics episode because I never talk about celebrities, but what would you say? What's the importance, since you do work with entrepreneurs on that, the importance of focusing on one thing, or what's your take on those that have a lot of ideas that they're trying to execute?
I literally had to do that myself. I had the octopus arms. I don't know what's bigger than an octopus with multiple arms, maybe a centipede arms, where I get downloads for ideas every 5 minutes of the day. And I thank the Lord and God for them. But then it puts you into overwhelm. So what you can do is take those ideas and figure out how it can niche down to one particular business, one area, and you can use them as to create multiple streams. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yes, and all caps, yes, 13 exclamation marks. Yes, because it's like, oh, gotta do this. And so speaking of, I'm about to drop a shameless plug. By the way, if you are commenting live right now, that's what I'm going to give away. I have a 21-day focus fast. So if you have felt like you are all over the place and you just want to just zero in on what to do, I actually wrote that book for the simple fact that every book that I write is because that's what I was struggling with at that time. And it's proof that it's possible. So 21-day focus fast, join the conversation, and I'll be gifting a 21-day program to someone watching right now. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we are wrapping up with our final thoughts with Chanel Spencer here, who has stepped out of her 6-figure career into her passion and her purpose, helping those in entrepreneurship. So we'll be right back. You to soar. If you're ready to step out, I'm telling you can transform your life in 21 days by taking the 21-day Focus Fast, and you can get that at thefocusfast.com. All right, so We are jumping into our final thoughts. I have like so many more questions because I like asking questions. But Chanel, tell us this. What's that one thing that anyone, you talk about leaving a legacy, and that's something I love to think about. What's that thing that you would hope anyone that comes in contact with your books, with your business, with you as a whole, what's that legacy that you desire to leave?
I want people to understand that we all have adversities. We all have different challenges that we have faced in our past and maybe even our present, but we have the power to make the decision to say my past circumstances will not define who I am in the present or will be in the future.
Yes, that's the truth. Definitely, because a lot of times we can feel like it didn't work last time. I tried it before. I stepped out before. And I love that most of the people that have left their full-time careers, usually by the time we really like go in, it's like, all right, this is the third time. And this time I'm for real. Like I'm not looking back. So yeah. So what would you, what's that tidbit that you would give to someone that maybe they have made a lot of mistakes, or maybe they're right now coming right out of a mistake? How can we get back up and just push forward, in your opinion?
One, we just need to forgive ourselves. We are all human. We all make mistakes. We all have, we're in a trial and error kind of lifestyle at this point, right? You don't have the 100% map and guide to perfection and to achieve everything you want. So one, forgive yourself. You are human, and understand that you are on a journey. You're like climbing up a mountain. For sure, forgive yourself and forgive anybody else that has maybe hurt you or disappointed you. Forgiveness will unlock so much freedom for you.
Yes, everything that you keep saying, it just reminds me of Job. And I try to balance out my preachy moments because I'm not a preacher. But one of the things that I found so cool about Job's story, he lost everything. Job lost everything. So if you're watching right now and you felt like you made mistakes, things have just been coming against you, challenges keep coming. That's where he was at. And it was so interesting to me in his story because his shift came when he prayed for other people. In fact, not just other people. Job prayed for the very people that were attacking him, that were making fun of him, his so-called friends. So when I think about that comparison as well, comparisons will have us carrying bitterness, anger, frustration, when the truth is some of your biggest blessings are right on the other side of forgiving and just being a blessing to someone else. So Chanel, how can we get in touch with you? How can we support what you're doing? And if you have something that's available right now, what can we get plugged into?
So you can connect with me on Facebook and Instagram at Chanel Spencer Now, as well as my website, www.readytotransformnow. I put now at the end of everything because now is action. We want to do it now, not later. Action now, not later. And also the crazy part was that you mentioned about comparison. I wrote about comparison in my book, Warriors Paradigm. It was actually the first book under my own publishing company. And I talk about the comparison game. So it's super important, like you said, for us to understand that we are all in our own lane and that we are only in competition with ourselves.
And that's a whole fact. So
yes.
What's that one final takeaway that you hope the audience would get just from hearing you today on the show?
Just to understand that life is not easy. We all have different challenges. I would say I was back in Houston doing an Urban CEO photo shoot, and it was smooth. It went perfect, but to get there and to leave was like a nightmare, right? But it was an amazing experience. So you're gonna have adversities. You're gonna have things that are gonna come and try to put barriers and blocks into you being who you want to be in this world and who you are destined to be. Keep pushing forward. You have everything that you need within you, and you have the power to be exactly who you want to be.
Yes. So I am going to wrap up with our giveaway of today, and that was something about Houston. I feel like every time I've had an event in Houston, I had to fight through backflips and everything to get there. And in fact, that is my final message that I would say before I announce our winner. So drum roll, please, if you're watching our giveaway winner today. But my final thought for you all is any energy, any time, anything that you're focusing on, you're saying yes to it. And every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. So if you're busy looking at what someone else is accomplishing, what they're doing, how they're whatever, they're talking about you or not talking about you, you're saying yes to giving energy to that while you're saying no to what really needs your attention. So my goal is that you will start saying yes to you. And moving forward, today is you versus you yesterday. I'm probably going to drop a t-shirt tonight. So go to amplifyher.online if you want a you versus you yesterday shirt. And I'll get one out. Our winner for today, drum roll, is, let's see.
I have imaginary drums.
Clark. Yeah, so Jojo, you will get a 21-day focus fast. And all you got to do is email me at info at ericalatrice.com to grab that. I want to say thank you, Chanel, so much for taking time out to be on the show today.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Like 3 weeks worth of training in one day. Yes. And for those of you, if you're looking for daily inspiration, if you want encouragement, the best way that you can support me is just by sharing this. Tell a friend, tag a trailblazer. You can stay connected with me across social media at Erica Empowers. And as I'm always telling you, Chanel just broke it down. Didn't matter what you did last week, what mistakes you made this morning, last night. I always tell you this, and I mean it. Go out and make today amazing, because it is absolutely a choice. Take care.
For more inspiration, visit us online at ericalatrice.com.